I'm very hyped to play Destiny 2 Lightfall. I cannot wait to see what Bungie reveals about this expansion in 20 days. I cannot wait 20 days, guys. So I wanted to do a Destiny 2 Lightfall predictions video, as I actually didn't give you my thoughts really on what Lightfall will have, and I made a community post a couple days back, and I asked for you guys to put some comments down if you want me to read them, tell how likely they are going to happen in Lightfall, really my thoughts on the next expansion. So be sure to watch until the end, and hope you guys are going to enjoy this one. Please subscribe, as we were trying to get to 14,000, that would mean a lot, but let's get right into it. So I want to start off with the most likely, the things that I definitely think is going to happen with Lightfall, and hopefully this can carry over into the final shape as well. So one of the big things that with Lightfall is that a brand new destination is down to happen. Now I know a lot of people have said that they prefer to have maybe the old locations, like the old ones like Nessus, Dreaming City might have like a revisit in these expansions, but with Beyond Light, they did say that every expansion from Beyond Light to Lightfall will bring a brand new destination. So I'm looking at like a very likely chance we're getting a brand new destination with Lightfall. I do not believe that we're not going to get any. We might get two locations like we did with Beyond Light, like getting a returning one like the Cosmodrome, and with Witch Queen we only technically got one new location. So I could see Lightfall and the final shape bring two destinations going forward, each, one returning, one new one, but I believe Lightfall will have a entirely new location, maybe the mothership pyramid or something of like the Witness, or like the Dark City like we got with the Witch Queen destination, like of course where Rolk's pyramid ship, there was like the birthplace of the Vile Strike is definitely like where this Dark City is played. We might get one inside a pyramid ship, but definitely a pyramid ship location is a very highly chance for Lightfall. I know last year I said Old Chicago is going to be a very likely destination, but I believe they changed it to the Throne World at the very last minute because we didn't get Old Chicago, but I know that was a very likely destination during the time of speculation before the Witch Queen reveal. So I'm saying right here it's going to be a pyramid ship type thing, and if it's not that, then I definitely think the Traveler inside it or something like that could also be a location, but we'll just have to wait and see with that if there's going to be a new location on what it's going to be. But I definitely think since Beyond Light they planned a new destination for Lightfall, and with the delay for that year delay from Witch Queen into like February of 2022 when they delayed it, I think Lightfall did give them more work time, I should say, on what they believe Lightfall will bring in terms of its destination. So another big thing I was just looking through the comments is the possibility of main characters returning, Nezarec, Savathun, and who the main characters will be. Now usually it is an expansion, so you can't get everybody in the story way too much, like in terms of like the voice actors and everything, because that again, it's just an expansion. But Lightfall is definitely an expansion I could see a lot of characters being involved. Zavala, the Witness, Savathun, Mithrax, Keitel, everything that's going on in the seasonal story to Lightfall, you could definitely see them have a huge, big thing that's going on within the expansion about their story. Like Keitel we saw in Season of the Chosen, and we did see her in, of course, Witch Queen, but Mithrax we didn't at all. So you got to be a bit, optimistic on when you bring characters in, because you might not have enough time to, of course, get every character in it. But I could definitely see a lot of the OGs come back with Lightfall. When I mean by that, it's like Hawthorne, maybe even, the Drifter, because the Drifter has been teased a lot to be in the story going forward for next season, and I feel like the Drifter, the Nine are definitely characters we should see, because we haven't seen them for a while, and they're definitely characters I'm very interested with. So hopefully they can return. Nezarec and Savathun have been one of the ones I've definitely been looking at the most, because Nezarec has been hinted at since Witch Queen, like it's been hinted at forever, and then we just got another hint with Witch Queen, and then of course with the end of Season of the Haunted. And Savathun's return is definitely a big one that a lot of Guardians are speculating, as that was a villain that was definitely hyped up for years, and then to see her die and then not come back, that is just very, very unlikely. I definitely think it's very likely that she will return in Lightfall or the final shape. I could see her not return in Lightfall and then return in the final shape, or have a season based around her. But I think when they said they wanted to quote unquote have villains, be expanded upon and have characters going from each expansion to the next. I believe they said something like that in a Road to the Witch Queen when they revealed that they were delaying it. So I believe they have villains in place to keep continuing all the way throughout expansions going forward. So any villains or enemies or anything like that we'll get, maybe we'll have a huge plot in the story to come until the very end. I think it's very hard to, get new characters into the story a little bit at the very end of the saga, because we won't see them really. That was definitely a little bit of a problem I have with adding new characters, but the Witness is definitely a character that has probably been in the shadows for a long time, and to finally have him be a big main villain in expansion is just really awesome to see. The hype for a new enemy, new boss, new whatever, is definitely amazing, and I love to see that. So, another thing is a Darkness subclass. Now, I believe a Darkness subclass is going to be in Lightfall, very likely. But Poison, I feel, is very unlikely at this point. Now, if you asked me that question maybe a couple months back, I would have said Poison would have been the subclass, that's it. But I believe Poison is no longer going to be the subclass that we're going to get with Lightfall. There's two main reasons for it. The first one is that I don't believe the Poison whole theme, if that is the subclass that we're going to get, matches up with Lightfall. It would have matched up perfectly with the Witch Queen. And now with us getting the, light subclasses update, and they're finally maybe leaning into getting another Darkness subclass, I don't feel like Poison has a good vibe with the expansion. Now I get you don't need to have, the vibe of the subclass match the expansion vibe, but Stasis and Beyond Light just was so perfect. And I feel like with Lightfall, you gotta really have something that's morally connected to the story of that. And if Savathun is not gonna come and return to Destiny to Lightfall, then you have a problem there, because everyone said that maybe she could help us learn the power of like hive magic and corruption and poison. And if she doesn't come back in Lightfall, then the Poison whole thing kind of drops a little, and that is like, a bit of a mystery. But I do believe that a new Darkness subclass is coming. I know they said they're having one in the works. It's just the term of when they're going to release it, and I believe the whole having a new Darkness subclass in Lightfall and then one in the final shape to have 3 Darkness subclasses and 3 light by the saga ends is a great way to finish off the saga, because then you have 3 dark and 3 light. We'll just got to find out what it is. I definitely thought the power in the pyramid, that yellow stuff, was definitely something that you could definitely see in the subclass. I think it was like Resident, and then Igor or something has been hinted at as being like some matter that we might get this season in terms of a subclass in the future. So definitely a new Darkness subclass is very likely on the way for Lightfall. It's just what it's going to be, and I feel like the whole corruption at this point have definitely dialed down. But who knows, as they added Austria's Trigger recently with Witch Queen, so they might have poison or some kind of corruption type thing in the works, and they just delayed it. And I could be definitely wrong with that, but who knows what's gonna happen. Duncan actually commented, someone on the good side is 100% going to die. I definitely believe someone could die. However, we did get a weapon before Witch Queen called Spoiler Alert, and this weapon did say like someone's going to die, and we got it before Forsaken, which hinted maybe a Cade's death, and then we got it before Witch Queen, and we were hinting at someone going to die in Witch Queen, and I guess Savathun might have been the character that was going to die in it. Who knows really what they were aiming at, but someone in our side could die. I could definitely see Ikora or Zavala die. Now hear me out. I feel like those characters are really good. They have a huge story, and maybe people just don't want them to die and get the happy ending, but I really want someone to die without us knowing, like some kind of huge like thing that goes on, like a mystery or type thing. Like when someone dies without us noticing in any of the trails or reveals, then it's gonna impact us way more, because we weren't gonna expect it. Of course, Cade's death was something we were expecting, as there was a lot of trailers and E3 hinted at it back in 2018. But if Cade wasn't revealed to die and you just saw him die literally in the first mission of Forsaken, it would have been really impactful. So I could definitely see one of the main characters die. The side characters, I really don't. Like, when I say side characters, I mean like Saint 14, Anna Bray, Lord Saladin. I really don't see one of them dying. I just feel like, why would you? Unless there was like a huge, revenge, a huge story that was building up to some kind of big climax with the character. But I feel like Ikora of course, using the power of, the darkness might have a consequence when she was looking back for Savathun's memory in Witch Queen. I definitely thought that she might have some, like, future or some kind of consequence to using that to actually win against the Witch Queen. And maybe Zavala himself. I'm not really sure what you could do with Zavala. We just learned of his dead wife, and that was a big story bump right there. But who knows really what's going to go on with those characters. But a character dying, I could definitely see, but I feel like it's somewhat like 50-50 on that one. Maybe they'll wait it for final shape. But I could see this being the Avengers Infinity War, where a lot of people die, and then the final shape, you never know when they might get resurrected, or something happens, and then they all come back, who knows. But Lightfall could see someone die, because it is literally named Lightfall. Or, if you want to call the Traveler a person, then yeah, maybe the Traveler just being destroyed, you could be counted as that. We will see all the disciples of the Witness and defeat them in the following seasons. Definitely believe that. I feel like we could. I wanted to say that we could defeat them all in the Lightfall expansion, but because the Lightfall campaign is still a huge mystery to me, I could see the seasons leading up to the final shape be that, like Callus, Aramis, and then of course Zetho or Wrath being the three major disciples, I feel like, that are going to build a narrative story and of course do that type of stuff. But we don't really know what the seasons they're going to lead up to, because we know as soon as Season 19 leads to Lightfall, all the next 4 seasons are going to start leading up to the final shape. So, you know what I mean? We don't know. We will lose at the end and get a brand new social space. Yeah, we could. And I'm definitely on the terms of when we final shape is finished, we might have to leave the solar system and go to a whole new one for the next saga. I feel like it's hard maybe to continue a whole new saga in the same galaxy. But that's, I don't know, maybe I'm talking like 10 years from now. I definitely think a new galaxy might be like something they might be working on, maybe like a couple developers, and who knows, maybe. But I know Final Shape has probably maybe been somewhat brainstormed at this point, so they might have some things from Lightfall really starting to lean into Final Shape, and as soon as Final Shape is done, then you have like the story really done for the saga. So who really knows about what will happen? So definitely something to look at. I definitely see a lot here about, what if there's a new destination, if the enemies will be resurrected, and type stuff. And I definitely agree with a lot of you about, Savathun coming back. If Savathun does come back, the poison subclass type theory definitely is going to be very likely. But if she does not, then I feel like a whole new type of darkness subclass with Lightfall, maybe the Witness teaches it to us, or if we became its final shape for humanity, something like that definitely could be on the way. And maybe the Exo Stranger or Eris Morn or even the Drifter could teach us another power of darkness type stuff, so it'll be really interesting to see how that goes. And I could definitely see a lot of new exotics, of course, come with Lightfall, a lot of new weapons. I think it was like 50 weapons we got with Witch Queen, and I think it was like 20 or 10 or 15 with Beyond Light. So I could expect 50 to 60 new weapons with Lightfall, even maybe 70 if you want to count that. I definitely feel like going forward that we're going to get a lot of weapons now. I don't feel like we're going to go into another Shadowkeep or Beyond Light. I know the Legendary campaign has been confirmed by one of the developers that Lightfall has been, when it was being planned, of course, so we are probably likely to get a Legendary campaign after its success with the Witch Queen campaign, which is really good. Cannot wait to see that. I know we're probably going to get a new raid, and hopefully we'll get a new dungeon as well. I kind of liked having the dungeon and the raid in the same type of season type thing. I know Joe Blackburn pointed out that every 3 months we'll either receive a dungeon and or raid, but maybe we could get a dungeon in the same expansion. That might help out, because I really would love a dungeon for Witch Queen and not Wellspring, because I really thought like Wellspring was probably the worst activity in the Witch Queen itself. I just did not like it, and I can't get any of the weapons to drop. But we'll find out sooner or later what their plan is for adding a whole new destination and adding a lot of other things for that. I do expect maybe 2 to 3 new strikes. It would be awesome if we saw 4, but 2 to 3 strikes is very likely for Lightfall. And of course 2 maps, maybe 1 to 2 Crucible maps. And who knows what the plan is with Gambit. If I don't see a new Gambit map in the next 100 days, I feel like it's going to be a really big long shot to keep that activity going, and maybe it's good to maybe pause it maybe like take it out of Destiny and then come back to it later on, because I'm not saying get rid of it, but like just take it out for a while, do some adjustments to it towards like how they did with Trials of the Nine. They took it out, they got Trials of Osiris, which is way better. Maybe they can do some changes to that, maybe add Gambit Prime back. That was definitely something that many people are likely for it to return, and yeah, I think Gambit Prime could return in the future, but we don't really know because that was a whole only season type content, and this is expansion, so I don't think their whole production team is going to work on some big changes to Gambit right now, unless the season was focused on it, but definitely something to look at. I know there was this huge theory that a lot of people thought that we're going to get like somewhat, new gameplay thing that's going on with Lightfall, like, how we got weapon crafting and like a new game, a new like incentive in the Destiny universe or something. We could expect some new huge changes with Lightfall in the final shape, and someone said that we might get a huge, like Warframe type ship, and all our vendors are on the ships, are on our ship or something like that, if like the last city gets bombarded and destroyed. It's gonna be really awesome to see how Lightfall's campaign works out, because I really want to scale it against Red War, which I definitely believe was a longer. It's probably going to be Red War is probably going to be the longest campaign in the game, because it was the base game campaign. But I really want to compare it to Lightfall's campaign, and it won't have a legendary mode, so already Lightfall is like really making me hyped for it, and I cannot wait to see how we're going to come back in Lightfall and how we're probably going to lose at the end. It's going to be like some Thanos endgame type shit. So I cannot wait to see how that rolls out, and it's going to be really interesting to see how the seasons and how everything is showing and revealing us what's going to happen next with Lightfall. So that's all I got for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, then please subscribe and like, as we're trying to get to 14,000. Thank you for all the guys that commented. I definitely really liked all your comments. They're really good, because I cannot wait to see the Witness return, as this was like the next big baddie, and who knows what Lightfall will bring, but I've been very hyped for it since Beyond Light showcase. So once it gets revealed, I can't wait. I really seriously can't. And of course, Season 18 and Arc 3.0 is going to reveal is coming on the same day. So can't wait for Season 18 as well, because that's happening literally all on the same day. But other than that, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.